So here I am, about a week into the month of March 2019, still a couple of weeks before spring officially starts, but it's not a bad time to look around the farm and sort of see where things are and the signs of what might be coming. So here's a fairly typical bramble undergrowth, Middle Tennessee. Some blackberry canes up here. All the blackberry canes that are up at this point are fruiticanes. They're going to have berries on them this summer. But this is what happens if you do nothing with them. This bramble's got a lot of honeysuckle vines coming up and covering over the blackberry canes. Some of the blackberry canes are going up 8 or 10 feet. Some of the ones are 8 or 10 feet but have fallen over. There's a bunch of older dead canes from previous years in there and a lot of honeysuckle vines. That's what you get if you do nothing. And the honeysuckle vines over time get fairly large and dominant, and they'll kill trees. Here's a part of the field that I worked last year. A little patch of blackberries. A lot of blackberry canes up. These blackberry canes I've pruned off at about 6 feet, maybe 6.5. Haven't really cleared out all the underbrush yet, and it's probably too big to be able to effectively pick berries. But this is sort of a rescued patch from out of the wild that's coming along towards being cultivated. Still too much honeysuckle. Got to get to that this year. Here's a row of blackberry canes that I worked on cultivating over the winter. This had all the honeysuckle and small stuff growing up around it. So I've cleared all the dead canes out. Everything that's up right now is a fruiticane. There's going to be blackberries on all of these canes this summer, June and July. Don't really see any growth yet from this year on them, although I've got some other patches of blackberries that do show some leaves popping out. But I have weeded down to the ground underneath here. Let me show you one I've been working for 2 years. So here's a row of blackberry canes that it's really in its second year of cultivation. Started working on these year before last. Weeded down to the ground. I've staked this year's fruiticanes so that blackberries will be easy to get to. Almost all of them are pruned off, topped off at about 6 feet. And when the blackberries come out in June and July, they'll be easy to pick. Now, here's some examples of some leaves, some buds starting to appear on some of the laterals. Don't know that I'll get a lot more lateral growth out of these canes as spring starts, but maybe. And you can see some of my big burn piles back in the back there. Here's another patch of blackberry canes. Used to be along a fence row over here. I've worked on these for about 2 years. Kind of proud of these because they were just all overgrown with honeysuckle and vines and bushes and brambles. I've cleared everything out except the blackberry canes. And you'll notice, don't have to stake many of these out. They are all pretty consistently pruned off at about 5 feet. And when you prune them off at 5 feet during the growth phase, then they start putting out laterals. And the laterals are where you will get blossoms in May and blackberries, fruit, set in June and July. It's a big, long 400-foot fence row up close to our house. Kind of proud of this too. It's about 2 years worth of work getting this thing cleared off. It was completely overgrown, obscured. Honeysuckles, vines, overhanging trees, cedar trees. And as I cleared everything out, I freed up the blackberry bushes so that I now just have blackberries growing along the fence row. And every cane you see is a fruiticane. It will be setting flowers and fruit here in about, flowers maybe in 6 weeks here. This is probably the one furthest along.